Kids, today Mitt Romney asked me to reach out to women because, you know, there's nothing women enjoy more than having a man speak to them because that's what they need. Now, before we get started, bitches, listen up. There's only certain women Mitt Romney wants or needs in his campaign. Some of you belong to the 47% and you are not Mitt's girls. So let me name off all of you women that are not Mitt's women so that you can just go do something. Make yourself busy. Now, the following women Mitt does not want. If you're one of those feminazis, Mitt's not interested in you. If you're one of those women that is a victim, Mitt doesn't want you. If you're a lesbian, Mitt doesn't want you. If you're a woman of color, any color other than white, Mitt doesn't want you. If you're an atheist, Mitt doesn't want you. Any questions? We are now down to, and if you're old and you can't reproduce anymore, Mitt doesn't want you. And if you're under 18, Mitt doesn't want you. So here we have the demographic. White females of breeding age between that are Christians or some form of Christianity or some form of Christianity. White breeding Christian women of faith. Those are Mitt's girls. Now, I don't want to talk to you welfare queens. Psst, go. All those other people, if you're on any government program at all, food stamps, WIC, anything, taking your kids using the Medicaid health care for your little snotty brats, you're not one of Mitt's girls. These are self-independent women of faith. That's Mitt's girls. Now that I have all your attention, are you ready, Mitt's girls? All right. We all know that all world religions, including Christianity, have traditionally always treated women like second-class citizens. You are really nothing more than herd animals, according to Scripture, and according to historically the way you've been treated. You are herd animals. You cannot possibly think for yourself. You've been deluded these last couple decades into thinking that your vote matters and that what you say matters, but truly it doesn't. That was just a little experiment to see if we could pump up the vote that your husband wanted. But some of you women got out of line and started voting against your husband's interests. So Mitt's proposing a few changes. Now, not right away, because that would cause alarm among that other group of women. But eventually, and I want you to have faith in this, Mitt will, and the Republican Party will, repeal the women's vote. And they'll also, if they get a chance, and you keep them in power long enough, they'll take away your right to own property again, and take away your right to have a bank account again, and everything else. So then, if you're not turning it out just the way you should, or you burn the cookies or the dinner rolls, they can throw you in the poorhouse. Because Mitt has a whole new vision for America that's just like the Founding Fathers. So let me remind you about the years of the Founding Fathers if you were a woman. You could not vote. You could not own property. You could not have a bank account. If your husband died and one of his male relatives did not marry you, you lost everything. And they sent you to the poorhouse, no matter how wealthy you were. That was the facts. That's Mitt's vision, because the Founding Fathers had it right. We have let women get way out of control in this society. Absolutely hysterical. There was no thing as rape back in the day. Back in the day, if a woman was taken by someone, it was her fault. And we're going to go back to that standard. And maybe even issue chastity belts again, because those were really good for women's health. Now, as far as all these mammograms and pap smears and all that expensive mess, none of that anymore. If you have breast cancer, die a nice, peaceful, quiet, ignorant way, and it won't hurt as much. It'll happen faster too. And in those poorhouses or those insane asylums and those large institutions that will be run by the state, they'll offer you basic care, like maybe a shot of morphine or something, as long as it's not too expensive. As far as like feeding your kids and stuff, that is your responsibility. That's why God gave you breasts. And if you have to breastfeed those kids through college, then you just keep on pumping. Otherwise, you shouldn't have had them anyway. And that's your husband's responsibility. And if he leaves you, well then, keep pumping those breasts, darling. It's all up to you. Or check yourself into the poorhouse. We're going to put women back in the traditional way that women should be. Herded, spoken to, controlled. Mitt's vision is that of the founding fathers. Put women back in their place like they used to be in the old days. So that's why it's important, ladies, that you talk to your friends and talk to your neighbors and rush down to your churches and pray. And ask your pastors too, because they'll show you in the scriptures where women have always been second-class citizens. And not just Christianity, in all religions except for paganism. So, having said that, get down to your church, vote Republican, all the way down the ticket, Mitt Romney and friends, and he'll make your life easier. You won't have to do anything besides cook and clean and submit. And if you don't want to cook and clean and submit, then you can just check yourself into a poorhouse. It's very simple. It'll make life so much more easy. Have a nice day.